to see a Santa Claus who spoke Polish. So
Wow.
yeah, it was fun. Food was good. The kids had a good time, and you know, it's been kind of a rough year, but we've muddled through at the end of the second year of COVID, and we've still got some to go, I guess. But it's going to be a matter of getting used to it and being able to deal with it. So, but we did have a good year. I'm going to give you some sales numbers a little bit later on. Sales were good, and you know, better than expected. So that's a good thing. But one of the things I wanted to do today, it's not moving. All right, there we go. You know, we were going to have a session in December, and what I wanted to do is go through end of the year sales ideas. And unfortunately, because of a lot of things that were going on in December, we were unable to have a Zoom session. But I had end of the year sales ideas, and I thought, you know what? It's just the same when you begin the year. And you need sales ideas for the beginning of the year too. So I'm going to go through some things, and it's kind of a refresher for some of you, but if I can give you any hints and ideas for the new year, I'm happy to do that. And one of the things they talk about is call on the agent, and I gave that a little bit of thought, and as I was thinking about it, I said, you know what, we're all aging. Everybody's aging. As soon as you're born, you're aging. So call on everybody, not just the aging, but sometimes we neglect part of our market because we think that they are either taken care of or they're not interested. And I can tell you, based on the last quarter of our year, older folks are still interested in protection and providing for their family.
Okay, dziękuję bardzo.
Somebody is not muted.
Yeah, it's. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that sometimes we neglect people because we think that they may be well taken care of, and that's not necessarily the case. So when I say call on the aging, like I said, we're all aging, so let's call on everybody. Grandchildren insurance, and again, we had a promotion. It's actually, we have a promotion right up until the 10th, which I believe is next Monday, for the single premium whole life, and we're still giving a gift if the grandchildren buy insurance. So if there's anybody that you can think of that you can call, and we can do that with the e-application. It's really simple. E-application on the in the illustration system, but there's an application in the latest Zagoda, and we can actually go up to 50,000 now on that application. But it's a simple app. Get it into us so that we can make sure that we get the gift to the grandchild. There was a lot of interest in that. And actually what happened is, and what I have found over the years is that once you start doing any kind of activity, other activity starts to happen. When we did the single premium whole life promotion here in the home office for grandchildren and children, we got a lot of 20-pay life also, because the people weren't interested in shelling out a specific sum of money to begin with. They wanted an annual premium, and they took the 20-pay life route. So, like I said, any kind of activity begets activity, and it's always the case. So, non-qualified annuities. We're going to start promoting annuities, and a lot of people think IRA, but the IRA is limited. And if they still want to put money in over and above what they can put into an IRA, or someone who is not qualified for IRA because they already have maybe a 401k or a pension plan that they're putting money into. It's a non-qualified annuity is a really nice way to diversify your portfolio because you've got some money that you know is guaranteed, and you get into a mutual fund, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Stocks go up and down. The annuity can only go up, and that's a nice thing to be able to say. And our rates are still very, very competitive. I have access to a service that I can get all the annuity rates of probably about 75 different companies, and we are not the best. We're right in the middle of the pack, and we're competitive. So I would be proud to present an annuity from PNA. So another one, rollover of IRAs. And people don't know that we do that. And then I was just talking to my granddaughter. 2 companies ago, she still has a rollover from 2 companies ago that she hasn't done. And people, they don't know exactly what it is, so they don't get around to it. And there's some rollover money out there, and it's an easy conversation to have. It's an easy thing to ask people about. And we have the product that we can do a rollover an IRA, and we will help with the paperwork. We get the application, we will go to the other company and help with whatever forms that they need. Usually they have their own form that they need as well as the forms that we need. So rollover of IRA is a nice, easy way to get a conversation going. And the thing about, we had Bart on a couple of months ago because he had gone in to talk to somebody about an annuity, and he said, the conversation goes this way. I'm happy to do the annuity, and that's what we'll do if you'd really like to do that. But I'd like to show you an idea that you might like. And that's when you can show a single premium whole life, because they can take that annuity, and again, it's got to be non-qualified, but they can take that annuity and the money that they're going to put into the annuity, they can buy a single premium whole life and double what they're going to leave to their kids and their grandkids. So it's a nice, again, that's a nice conversation to have when talking about annuities. The thing about Bart's annuity that he was going in on, he was talking to the wife, and she had some money that she was going to put into an annuity, and she actually wound up purchasing the single premium whole life. But when he was finished with the wife, he turned to the husband and said, "Well, now what about you? What are you doing?" And at the time, he was in the middle of looking at an annuity with another company. And he said, "Well, I've got, I'm looking at an annuity, I think it's State Farm." And Bart said, "Well, if you're not using that money for income, we can double the death benefit that you leave, and you still have a cash value, you have access to your money. Why not take a look at a single premium whole life?" And the gentleman did, and it was a substantial sale. It was a 6-figure sale, so premium. So it was a nice sale, and I think that when you do that, you're really doing a service for the policyholder, the member, and their loved ones. Term insurance conversions. I was told one time that in the insurance business, on the first of the year, you always start with a 0. And, that may be true in terms of the number that we use, but it's certainly not true of the time and effort and energy that we've spent in the previous year and in the previous years developing relationships. And when you have a relationship and you've sold term insurance at some point in time, it's a great time at the beginning of the year to talk about a term insurance conversion. And I used to call people and say, hey, we really ought to take a look at this, because if you do it now, you can save yourself some money. If it's a 10-year, I would start calling in the third year, because what I did when I sold the term insurance was planted the seed. I said, at some point in time, we're going to want to look at converting this term insurance to a whole life. So I planted the seed when I actually sold the term insurance, but then later on, you call the people and say, hey, you're not, I wouldn't say it just this way, but you're not getting any younger, and your premium's going to go up. So, let's take a look at that. You can do some of it, you can do all of it. Let's just take a look and see what the budget is and see if we can get some permanent life insurance here going forward. When we talk about permanent life insurance, that's insurance that doesn't go away. It's a level premium. They know how much they're going to pay, and it's the same thing if we're using an LP 90 or an LP 65. It's the same thing to age 65 or to age 90 forever. And if 90 is paid up, at age 65 is paid up. For some reason, we don't sell much life paid up at 65, and I don't know why that is, because that's kind of a cool policy to be able to sell to people. Tell them when you're ready to retire, you retire your insurance payment. You don't have any more payment. But term insurance conversion is an easy conversation. Somebody that you've already talked to about insurance, they believe in it because they have it. And you know what? When the term insurance term is over with, it's still going to stay in force, but that premium goes way up. It goes up really high. The other thing is that their needs don't go down as they get older. The needs go up, they don't go down. And one of the big products a long time ago was mortgage insurance. It was a decreasing term insurance. Hardly anybody sells that anymore, because they know that their needs don't go down. The decreasing term insurance is not a good sale for people. So anyway, term insurance conversions, good way to start a conversation. Age change program. On birthdays, the premium's going to go up. And I used to work for a company that it was the age change was on the 6-month anniversary of their birthday. So if they were 26 and a half, and one day they were actually 27. But now we use age nearest birthday, which is a lot easier, by the way. But I would send them a note and say, hey, you got an age change coming up. Maybe we should talk. And then I'd call them on the phone, and I'd say, hey, even if you're mildly interested in looking at your insurance program, now's a good time to do it, because you can save yourself some money. It's the same. It's the same approach as the term insurance. If you're looking at doing some insurance, we should talk about it now, because you're never going to be younger than you are right now. So let's get together, talk about what you need and what you want, and we'll talk about the budget, make sure that we can fit it into your budget. Again, another easy conversation to have. Term insurance to cover student loans. And student loans used to be really kind of small things. I know when I was in college, I was able to work during the summer and pay for college. You can't do that anymore. Kids can't get enough money to pay for college in a summer job, or even working during the year. And a lot of them have student loans, and the parents really need to take a look at making sure If something happens to the kids, those loans can be paid. And even the students want to make sure that they're paid. So, and it's usually a sale to somebody between the ages of 20 and 30, because they've still got loans at 30. So that's another topic of conversation.
Yeah, I actually had a grandfather call here, and he was a co-signer on a student loan for his grandson, and that's exactly what he said. I would like to get a life insurance to make sure that we're all protected. And he actually purchased substantial life term coverage for his grandson to make sure that the student loan is covered, that he's not going to be responsible.
Yeah, well, the same thing with me. I've signed on a couple of loans with my granddaughter. You almost hate to do it because you don't want to profit from anybody's death, but if they owe money, it's practical to have insurance to cover that. Okay. Review all rated policies. I don't know if any of you have written policies that people were rated on, but it might have been because they were smokers or they were a little bit overweight or because they had a health issue that was temporary. But if you take a look at rated policies, you can go back to them and say, hey, let's take a look at updating your insurance and seeing if we can get that rating taken care of. And it might be a matter of actually increasing their insurance, even if it's still rated and they need more insurance, they need to get it.
Yeah, because our tables are.
Yeah. So, if you have some people with rated policies out there, it's a good idea to revisit that. And again, these are all ideas for touch points, and it's all about seeing the people and being available to them and making sure that they know you're available. Get 15 referred leads per week. I know that that was in there, but when I was a full-time agent, my manager just pounded on me to get names, and 15 names a week. I had to get 15 names a week. And I was out there, and that was part of my job, was to do the prospecting, to get the names of people that I wanted to see. And what I found was that it wasn't all that difficult when I was writing applications, because I would get, I just talk to people and say, hey, look, part of my job is selling and taking care of the people that I have as clients and as members. The other part is that I have to make sure that I've got new people to talk to. And I'd like to keep the servicing part as big as possible and the new people part, looking for new people part, as little as possible. So if you could help me with that, I'm able to service my clients better. And they said, well, that makes sense. So, okay, so what we find is that when we talk to 3 people, one is never going to buy insurance, one is going to buy insurance later, and one is going to buy insurance now. So I need at least 3 referrals from you. And it would, I know you don't know anybody that wants to buy life insurance, but who do you know that's got kids, getting a new job, ready to retire? And have an idea of the people that you want to talk to, so that you can give them an idea of the names that they should give. And honestly, I'm telling you, it works because I've done it. And it was not that difficult, because I was talking to people who already trusted me, and we had a relationship built up. And the quicker you can do that with people, the easier it is. But I still talk to agents. When they come in, they bring an application, and I say, do they give any referrals? No, but they said they think about it. I said, well, that doesn't help you. You need them to give you names. And the one way to do that is to have something to write on. and say, I need 3 names because one's going to buy now, one's going to buy later, one's never going to buy. And believe me, they will appreciate talking to me because I can help them. So you got to be opinionated when it comes to getting deferred leads, and sometimes it takes a while to develop that opinion, but you got to know that you can help people, and it's good for them to talk to you. And it is. There's no question about it. Anybody who buys any kind of life insurance is better off than they were before they purchased it.
I want to mention something because Tom really coached Bart here in the main office, and Bart really, I had seen him grow, and just like Tom said, a question, a simple question, could lead to different things, to absolutely a huge sale, like just like with that single premium. And I had seen, like, how Tom, we could get those things in our mind, like me and Bart, that just talking with people could really bring some leads, and our clients are happy and we're happy too.
Yep. Yeah, and the other thing I used to do is make contests with myself. I'd say, okay, if I did this much business, get myself a new pair of shoes. Just something stupid like that. And what I find is that people in the insurance business are all competitive, and it's fun to play games like that. So the other thing is when I make a sale, I'd smoke a cigar in the car on the way home. And if I walked in the house smelling like a cigar, the kids knew I made a sale. Anyhow, I've got 2 sons who are salespeople. They're not in the insurance business, but they both sell, and they do very nicely. So, make one more call. Again, I was an insurance agent, and I would make my phone calls from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Monday nights. Religiously, I would be making phone calls from 6 to 8. That was when I was a new agent. They told me you're going to make phone calls from 6 to 8, and I really got kind of irritated because I wanted to be an agent because I didn't want people telling me what to do anymore. So when they told me I had to make phone calls, I was not happy about it, but it got to be a habit. And my family knew that I was not available on Monday nights 6 to 8 because I was making phone calls. And we used Monday night because, way back when I was doing it, Monday Night Football started at 8 o'clock. Now they started a little bit earlier. You didn't want to call people during Monday Night Football, but you wanted to call them at the end of dinner time, which is about 6 o'clock. And we would all go out. We'd go over to Dick's Fish Market because they had a nice bar in the outer area. We'd all have a beer and drink, have some steamed mussels, and then go back and make phone calls. And again, that was kind of fun. There was a little camaraderie going on there. But I always found that one beer was helpful when I was making phone calls. But I would finish with my phone calls at 8 o'clock, and I would call home. And I'd call my wife and I'd say, I'm finished. Is there anything you need me to pick up on my way home? And she'd say, no, but make one more phone call. Ooh. She got it. She understood that it was all about contacts. And if you think about one more phone call every week, it's maybe 40 to 50 more phone calls that you're going to make. And that's a lot. And it adds up over a period of a year. So just do a little bit more. If you can do 10% more than you're doing in terms of activity, it will reap you a lot more business. So, and again, I can attest to that for having been in the business as long as I have, working with a lot of agents. And I just tell them, make 10% more effort and you will really reap the benefit of a lot more business. And then it gets to be a habit. Okay. Cross-selling your existing book. You've got people with policies. They may need a little more term insurance, or they may need an annuity. Don't be afraid to call on friends and family. I used to when I was a sales manager, doing interviews with people who were prospective agents. They'd come in and they'd say, well, I'd like to think about being an agent, but I don't want to call on my friends and family. And I'd look at them and I say, okay, so you want other people to sell your friends and family, people that may not care for them as much as you do. And they'd look at me like,
That's a good one.
I said, so you'd rather have a stranger call on your friends and family than have you do it? And they said, well, no. I said, well, what's wrong with calling on friends and family then? Well, I guess nothing, as long as I know what I'm doing. Well, that's true. And we're going to talk to you about what you need to know, but don't be afraid to call on friends and family, because they need it just as much as anybody else, and they're going to buy it from somebody. So they may as well buy it from you because you care about it, and you know you will do a good job for them. So don't be afraid to talk to friends and family. Kids are home for Christmas right now, vacation, semester break. It's a good time. Give a call and just ask people how they're doing. And we have a promotion going on. By the way, we always have a promotion going on. So that line is, you can use that all year. Existing members to generate referrals. Again, I would, hey, I need to come see you. I need some help. And they said, oh, okay. And I got going. Tell them, hey, look, I need to get 3 names because one will buy now, one will buy later, one will never buy. And they would get their directories. Now they use their phones. But just because I asked, they gave me names. We don't ask. We don't ask enough. We really need to. Who's the easiest person to talk to is a referral. Hi, my name's Tom Adamson. We've never met, but we have a friend, a mutual friend in Yola. And they said, well, how's Yola doing? I said, she's great. I really enjoy working with her. But we were talking and your name came up, and I just thought I'd call and introduce myself and see if we could get together and share some ideas. That's all it is. Referrals are easy to call. Understand how your products work and where they fit. And we're going to talk about a little more on single premium whole life, but it's really important. I was just doing an article for the Zagoda for the next article, and I try to give examples of why people might need to buy life insurance. Well, if something happens to you, would your family need help paying their monthly bills? Yeah, they would. Well, that's what life insurance is for. It's there to cover income. So that's one of the things. Would they be able to stay in their house? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe we should make sure that the mortgage is covered. Would the kids still be able to go to school where they're going to school? And what about college? Well, yeah, I'd like to have a little bit of money there too. A little bit of money there too. Again, understand where your products fit. And it might be term insurance. It might be whole life insurance. I know a lot of people don't like term insurance because there's no cash value. But the fact of the matter is that they need the coverage. And they don't have enough money to buy all whole life. So they need to buy some term insurance. And maybe they have enough money to make a combination of some whole life and some term insurance. But you need to be able to have those conversations with people and be able to help them. They need to have the coverage and it needs to fit in the budget. Bring the energy. And honestly, God, I'd be standing at the front door ringing the doorbell, and I would get excited about the person opening the door. I was going to meet somebody new, and we were going to have a conversation about what I knew I could help them with. So I would come home at night, and I wouldn't be able to get to sleep because I had so much adrenaline flowing. I started doing crossword puzzles. If anybody has trouble getting to sleep at night, do crossword puzzles. Yeah. So, but yeah, bring the energy. It's really important to be excited about what you're doing. Okay, so told you I was going to give you some preliminary sales results. This is 2021 as opposed to 2020. In life premiums, the first year, that's life insurance. In 2021, we did 195,860. 2020, we did 172,230. And 2020 was a pandemic, and 2021 was a pandemic. I mean, that didn't get much easier. So we had an increase. I can't see that number. We had an increase of about 14% on recurring life insurance premium. Single premium, we kind of knocked the ball out of the park. We had a promotion going on with that, but it's a really good product, and it really fits nicely for a lot of our members. We went from doing 905,000 last year to $1.5 million this year in 2021, and like I said, we made people aware of it. We put it out there, and we increased it by 74% over last year. So total new premium, $1.7 million as opposed to $1.077 million. And that was a 64% increase. So I thank you all for all of your efforts and for getting the business in. It really helps us. It helps us do what we do in the community. But it also gives us the financial strength that we're able to talk about when we talk about keeping promises to people who purchase their life insurance with us and who buy annuities with us. So, we've got the fraternal and we've got the business part of it, and they really work like that. And it's important to know that every time somebody pays their premium or puts money into their annuity, they are part of what we do in the homeless community and any community that we're working with. And they're part of that big picture. And that's a really good thing. And that's one of the wonderful things about being working with a fraternal insurance company. So this is good news. Like I said, like it says up there, it's preliminary 2021 sales results, but we're really tickled with what we've been able to accomplish this last 6 months. So
it's wonderful. It's just we had seen so much interest, and it's like a chain events that I think people are telling other I got this, and maybe you will be interested. With the single premium, I know some of you are loving single premium, and as you see those numbers, people are really interested. We had a gentleman, psychiatrist. He said, this is like so cool. I have this money, and it's no problem for me to just put this in that single premium, and I have all this coverage, and I'll be covered. He was like so excited, and we were able to actually approve him by the end of the 2021, and it was just a great thing, and thank you all, because you guys did a lot of it out there in the field. Thank you.
Yep, we do appreciate all the effort that went into again, it was not an easy
In those
year.
numbers,
Huh?
in those numbers,
Yeah.
all of you have part of those numbers, those percentage.
Yeah, and it wasn't an easy year, and we appreciate. And you know what? The other thing is that, and I was thinking about this. Everybody showed up here in the home office. All the service people in member services, people in claims, people in sales department, marketing. They all showed up every day. We had some people get sick, yeah, but man, I tell you what, they were troopers. Everybody really put it in, put in a good day's work every day. And you know, if any one of you want to recognize that, it would be great because, and I think that sometimes we forget the infrastructure that's underneath what we do out in the field. So they did a nice job, and you know, we're proud of what we were able to accomplish this last year. So now, having talked about single premium, I'm going to talk more about single premium. And one of the things that somebody said, why don't you give us some examples of how to use them? So, you know, I can't get enough of single premium whole life. So we're going to talk about it a little more. I really do need those.
Oh,
Okay. All right, thanks. So I'm going to go through a number of different scenarios and show you where the single premium whole life actually fits in and how we can use it. And in this situation, making the estate whole, person age 65 purchased in a mutual fund, and actually it started out at 300,000 and now it's down to 200,000. I don't know if you've ever purchased anything that lost value, but the worst thing I can remember is that I bought a penny stock, and it was like it was $700, and that thing went down to like 300, and I said, I'm out of here. And that's I hate losing money, so I try to stay out of things that go up and down. But the value declined, and the value is now 200,000. So let's take a look at this. We could take the just half of it, 100,000, and buy a single premium whole life, and the death benefit, guaranteed death benefit, would be about 200,000. So now the person is back up to the 300,000 that they would want to leave in their estate for whoever their beneficiaries are. And it might be a charitable situation too, a gift type of situation. Estate maximization. Again, male prospect, 65, has some lazy money. And I've when I say lazy money, I mean money that they don't need for income. And like this psychiatrist that Yola was talking about, he didn't need the money that he gave us, but he thought, oh boy, I can do something with this, and I can double my money that I'm leaving to my kids and my grandkids. So by taking the 50,000 from a CD, the client could purchase a single premium and wind up with $107,000 in death benefit. There's underwriting, but the underwriting is net amount at risk. And by that, I mean, if the insurance is going to be $107,000 and the premium is $50,000, we're really only insuring $57,000. So that's all the requirements that you need, is whatever the age the person is, for $57,000 of life insurance. So by simply taking that certificate of deposit, which he's paying income tax every time they pay a dividend on that thing, and you can turn it into $107,000 income tax free and free of probate. You know, probate's kind of a big word, and people don't like because they think that it's going to cost some money, and it does, because it has to be probated. And if you don't, it will have to be probated. One of the easiest places to leave people money is in life insurance because it goes by contract. There's nothing, you name a beneficiary and the beneficiary gets the money. And there's no legal fees involved or anything. You submit a claim and the beneficiaries get the money. You probate a will, there will be some cost of that. And a lot of it depends on where you live and the cost. So that's another way. Rescue. And you know, there's some policies out there, universal life policies out there, and people are paying premiums. And in this particular situation, the person's paying a premium $2,200 yearly, and the cash value is $5,500, $55,000. And based on looking at the illustration, that policy is going to lapse at 77. And why is that? Well, because the universal life has a term aspect to it, and the premiums keep going up as you get older. So if you haven't been funding it high enough over a period of time, it is going to lapse. And like I said, this illustration shows it's going to lapse at age 77. So why don't you take the 55,000 and at age 53 rates and premium contribution 50,000, this person can get a death benefit of about 170,000, which is more than the 150,000 that they got with universal life. And then they don't have any more premiums to pay. Client increases her death benefit and eliminates her annual premium payment. How about that? And that is a beautiful, beautiful way to use this product. And I've done that. I had a person who, he actually asked me about it because he said, my cash value is starting to go down on my universal life product. So what should I do? And I looked at it, and what had happened was, you know, it goes up to a certain point, and then when that cost of insurance gets too high, it starts eating at the cash value of the policy, and the cash value goes down, even though you're still paying the same premium. And that's a good time to get out of that policy if you can do something nice like a single premium whole life and actually increase the death benefit, and then they don't have any more premiums to pay. And that's one of the things that the psychiatrist liked about it. Single premium was it's one and done. You don't have to think about it anymore.
We had one agent that always likes to use the single premium to like a rescue product for any policies out there. We're doing a 1035 exchange. We just did from Prudential. She had a client from Prudential and Mutual of Omaha that actually was we were getting the money from those two companies and getting a single premium open for this client, because just like Tom mentioned, you know, that policy was just, their policies in those two companies were just dying, practically dying. And then you have a client like, what do I do? Tell me, what do I do? And our single premium is just a beauty to save, to have that protection for the client. I actually had a client here in Chicago. It was a husband and wife. She was a banker, and she worked for this bank. And she called me and she says, you know, I have some small policies with PNA, but I have this policy. I think it was Western Southern, and it's just like is depleting. It's just like when I will need the most the life insurance, me and my husband will not have it. And then we looked it over and we kind of said, you know, single premium would be the best way for you to go, because then we could get the money, the cash value that you have. And this is absolutely. And so we got her approved, and they were healthy, and we were able to get those two 1035 exchanges sent to us, and those checks and policies are still on our books.
Yeah, you know, if you run into a situation that you need to talk to somebody about,
Yes.
call us. We are happy to work through this stuff with you. And we have stuff that are, available to us to that we can take a look at and help you with. So um, feel free to call us. By all means, use us as a resource. There's there's a number of different things that we can look at for you. So okay, so rescue product is it's a great product for that, and people when they get into these situations, they are very happy not to have to pay more premiums. Okay, and we've talked about this a lot. Wealth transfer. 65-year-old grandmother who'd like to leave each of her two grandchildren $15,000. She has a $30,000 certificate of deposit. What are her options? Option one, she can leave the money to them in a certificate of deposit, and each grandchild will receive $15,000 upon her death. She puts the money into an annuity. The account will earn a tax-deferred rate of return. And upon death, the grandchildren will receive the proceeds and they have to pay tax on the gains. And actually, they don't pay it, the estate pays it. So, but that's less money that they're going to get. So option three is she takes the $30,000 and puts it into a single premium. She'll get an immediate guaranteed death benefit of approximately $55,000. And when the death occurs, they'll get $27,500 income tax free. And based on a simple 4% rate of return, it would take approximately 18 years for the net after-tax value of the annuity to be equal to the initial guaranteed death benefit of $55,000. And getting back to the sale that Bart made, he showed the gentleman, and I think Bart shared this with you. It was $100,000, and the premium was $100,000, and the death benefit was $178,000. And he showed him if he took the $100,000 and put that into the annuity that State Farm was showing him, it would be 20 years before it even got up to the $178,000. So and you still have a cash value in that life insurance policy. So the money is available to you if you need it. So it's a great product for wealth transfer. And when we talk about wealth, people back off from that term too. You can use asset transfer or whatever you want to use if you're not comfortable with the word wealth. But the annuity alternative, and we just talked about that. How much income tax? Well, beneficiaries of the billions of dollars that we have outstanding in annuities have to pay. Because it's a tax-deferred product, at some point in time, people are going to have to pay taxes on what they've gained. You have a 65-year-old female who has an annuity currently worth $75,000, of which $25,000 is accumulated interest. Okay, again, this is lazy money. Doesn't need it for any specific purpose, and it's designated to be transferred to her grandson upon her death. So the client can surrender the annuity and pay the tax on the $25,000 in gain. Let's say she's in a 28% tax bracket. Probably not, probably more like 15%. But anyway, that would be $7,000 in taxes to be paid. Okay, she cashes in the policy. She's got a $25,000 gain. She has to pay income tax on that, about $7,000. She can turn around and take the $68,000, so that $75,000 that she started with minus the taxes, she's taking that out so she can pay the taxes with it. So she gets $68,000 after tax into a single premium life, and it would be about $137,000 of death. So the immediate increase in her estate transfer value is $62,000. And not only has she increased the amount that she can give to her grandson She has eliminated the tax burden her grandson faced from receiving the annuity proceeds. He would have had to pay income tax on that $25,000. So anyway, it's a very neat way to take care of the tax situation and also provide a higher death benefit as long as they're insured. Okay. Initial deposit of $25,000, and here, this kind of shows you what happens on a gain. Person put in $25,000, 5% for 20 years. It's now worth $66,000, and the gain is $41,000. So in scenario one, the kids get $66,000. Kids tax bracket, let's say like 25%. So the tax on the legacy that the kid has to pay is $10,000. So the net to the kids is $56,000. Different thing that she could do is pay the income tax of 15% on that gain. That'd be $6,198. Take the remaining $60,000 and buy the single premium whole life, and that would purchase $129,000 of life insurance. Net increase to the kids is $73,574. You show that to somebody, it's simple math. You show it to somebody, and why wouldn't they do that if they qualify? 73,000 is non-smoker female, age 67, and all we have is smoker and non-smoker rates. There can be a rating on this, but even with a rating, it's a good deal. So, and we've looked at that. Of course, it depends upon how high the rating is, but it's easier underwriting. And again, it's net amount at risk. So we look at those just a little bit different. So 2021 in review, we've talked about the financial strength of the company using standard analytical, and those usually come out about March. It has to be done after our financial statement is done. That takes a little bit. But we'll have the next one probably in about March 4th. We talked about debt, income, mortgage and education, human life value, how to talk to people about what their need is. We've talked about annuities, Social Security, live, die, quit, how to show a life insurance policy, how it works, and life insurance, using life insurance in your retirement. Yola did a nice class on the e-application, how to use that. We can certainly do that again. We talked about the single premium whole life choices approach. And if you haven't figured out by now, I'm pretty high on the single premium whole life policy. And when I looked at the numbers, the two policies we sold the most of were single premium whole life and the 20 paid life. So I don't know if that's because the agents like them the best or if it's because the people like them the best, but it's kind of an indication that those policies do well in the marketplace. We talked about the rule of 36. We talked about the PNA riders. Then we talked about life insurance and taxes. And these things are available to you. We started recording them, and they're available to you on the agent's website. So,
yes, if you need the user ID and password, we got that.
Yeah, right. So anyway, thanks again for an outstanding 2021. Hopefully this year will be a little bit easier to be outstanding in, but we need to have another outstanding year because the best is yet to come. Thank you for your time today, and anytime, give us a call, even if you just want to say hello. We're available. So, any final words?
No, thank you. Thank you for everything. And we're so those numbers are gorgeous.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about looking forward into 2022. And again, we thank you for your help, and anything we can do for you in 2022, let us know.
Any questions?
I have a question, if you don't mind. The annuity rates. I think in the last GODA, I think it was like what 2.5 for the first year, and I guess what I'm after is, what do you see the next 2 months? Is that going to change? Because people now looking into their filing the income tax and looking to maybe IRAs or place annuities. What do we go with that?
First, Joe, if may I before I'll have Tom, our 8-year is at 2% with guaranteed of 1. Our 5-year is 2.25 for first year and a 2% for second, third, and fourth and fifth year. I just wanted to clarify that. I know that the Fed is going to raise the prime.
Yeah,
What's your-
and I'll tell you, what happens is when the rates move in the marketplace, insurance companies, all insurance companies lag the rates. They lag the market because what that means is that they will change their rates and then we'll change our rates a little bit later.
Right.
The thing about that is that our rates go down later than their rates go down, but they also go up later than their rates go up. So I don't see us moving our rate right away, but I suspect that we will have to do so in the next months, maybe 3 months from now, and it'll be a conversation that the executive committee is going to have with regard to maintaining being competitive. But the thing about it is that, again, I mentioned this earlier, I looked at what other companies were doing right in the middle of the pack. Like they said, there's some that are better and some that are worse. And they're all big.
And
Now,
they were better than CDs at the bank.
oh yeah, I mean 0.1.
Yeah,
Or 0.05.
yeah.
I have another issue. I don't know if I need to bring it up now or with Yola later, perhaps on the phone. What got me a heartburn the other day, I received the yearly statement from my granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And on that statement, it has still the old, shouldn't say the word old, a former financial secretary's name on it, which she retired a good 6 years ago. It no longer lives in Rockford. And how do we change that? I mean, so my name will go on all the lodges, our lodge, reports, so they know who their financial secretary is.
If I may take that, because I did speak with Kalinka about the okay, it showed the agent's name because she was the agent, what I understood it, on this contract, on this policy, and that is why her name was showing there as the agent, as the person that sold this policy to her. I know that, we have some agents that are no longer active, and we had conversation with different, with the new agents that they would like to proceed with it. But I know this was changed. But I don't know. I'll give it to you, Tom. What was in the other companies? If the agent retired, was the name?
Well, the agents may be dead by now. I mean, and then you still would have their names on the yearly statement. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't help us as a financial secretaries. When the statement comes in and it, like, this friend of ours, she lives in North Carolina now, and she has, she's out of our, well, she's still in our group, technically, but she's retired 6 years ago. I've been financial secretary for 6 years. And so any policy that she sold still got her name on it, and previous financial secretaries before her who are long gone from this earth are still come up with their names on them. Come on, guys.
No, that should, when somebody dies, it should automatically go to the home office. So, but I'll take a look and see what's going on there.
Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll do that.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes,
Can you hear
sir.
me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at that chart that had $1,570,000 in premium, single premium whole life that you had for 2021, $1,570,000 and something. Can you comment about the age brackets for the policies that are being covered there? In other words, are most of those policies being written by people, for people over 50? Or are they written for kids that are 2 or 6 or something along those lines? And the reason I'm asking that is because, you know, the 30-year-olds, and I got a couple of them, I got more than a couple of them that I see all the time, my kids, et cetera. The 30-year-olds, number one, they don't understand it, but they couldn't do better with single premium whole life right now than at their age to cover that. So I asked about success within brackets. I don't know if that's a question you can answer, but perspective on that.
It's a good question because I just looked at it this morning. And it's about half 0 to maybe 17.
Okay.
And then it goes up to about 50 and above. And there isn't too much in between 50 and 17.
Okay.
And up to 15, we did about of that gazillion dollars of well, actually, I was looking at the last quarter.
Yeah.
And we did about, in the last quarter, we did about 600,000 of premium. So we had a stellar fourth quarter. But the money from the younger kids was about like 25,000, and the rest of it was the older people.
Okay.
And again, it's because of the fact that the insurance costs more at an older age.
Sure.
But that's really where the profit is for us. And you know, I hate to say that when you're talking about a not-for-profit organization.
No, I'm simply asking because, you know, I'm not going to spend as much time in a 30-something category trying to sell product to a 30-something person if it's not being successful by other people.
Yeah.
But let me give you another thought though, that I was trying with my son-in-laws, and they're in their 30s, and it's related to that thing you had where there was a mutual fund of 300,000 and it dropped to 200,000. So it's $100,000 loss. I don't think in your calculation there that you counted the tax benefit that person would get by selling that mutual fund at a loss of 100,000, taking it off his taxes, because they all have buku gains on all this other stock market gain. And so they're going to be paying taxes, but now they're going to be paying 20,000 less taxes, and they hadn't even thought of it. So I'm trying to say, okay, take that 20,000 in just an example and buy single premium whole life, and you can buy a lot of it for yourself at your age in your 30s.
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, that's a one and done.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You're 30 and you're going to have it when you're 70.
Right.
You don't have to think about it. You know, people are losing their group insurance at that point because they're no longer working. There's a lot of things going on, and it's really hard to have insurance at that age.
Yeah.
And to be paying for it. And if you get it when you're younger and you don't have to worry about it, you just leave it for the future. Wow. Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
One other question before we leave. Any chance to extend that Christmas promotion for the youngsters?
We did. we
Till the 10th.
did it till the 10th.
Till the of January?
Yes.
January 10th.
Till next Monday. So go get some.
Well, Yola, I don't know if you remember our conversation that I have a situation. I wrote up a policy before Christmas, and this child was just born, 3 weeks before Christmas, and she doesn't have the social security number yet.
That's okay, Joe. We will honor it. Even
Okay, all right. I'm worried, I call them every other
Good point.
week, did you get the numbers?
It takes a while. Now with the COVID, it takes a while for the
Yeah.
hospital. Because actually I have three on my desk that I'm waiting for the socials.
I have 2 that's sitting on my desk right in front of me, and I love to send it in to you like the other 4 that I sent before Christmas. And okay, as long as I'm covered.
No, you're covered.
Okay, all right. That's all I needed to know again. And I'm gonna send you. I don't want to extend this thing any further, but my cell phone crashed, and I'm gonna send you a note about the what do you call it, applications, and the annuities, all these things that you sent me that I was able to print off and hand out to people. But I'll send you an email on that.
Good. No problem. No problem.
Okay, great. Hey, Tom, can I just make it a quick compliment on your end? A
Sure.
couple of weeks ago, you sent this Monday morning thing. You know what I'm talking about how to do different things. Well, you sent the one about 7 keys to success. You recall that one?
Yes.
I sent those to my 2 of my sons who are professionals, and they thought it was fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I just want to compliment you.
Appreciate that feedback. That's what makes it worthwhile for me.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
I know we have one question in the chat. For 2020, we do have to sort of a training in order to. Okay, we will talk to you, Mr. Yashani, we will talk to you after our training in respect to the questions that you had posed in the chat. Is there any other questions? Because I know we went over our allowable time.
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Then Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Prosperous New Year to all.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Same
Thank
to
you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.